Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Spohr. I am one of the 2025 Grant Review Committee co-chairs. I'm super excited to host today's Philanthropy Friday. We are really thrilled to hear from some of our 2024 grant recipients. We have three of them here today, so I will quickly introduce them and then turn it over to them who are going to share with us today about their mission, their programs, and importantly, how they were able to use Impact 100 grant money. So, and I don't know if you all have this, but we have a storm going on in the Heights. So if you hear thunder in the background, anyways, so first I'd like to introduce Stephen Scott from Ensemble Theatre. Thank you for joining us. We also have Julianne Hickey here from Small Steps Nurturing Center. And last but not least, we have Jessica Manley here from the Woods Project. So I'd like to turn it over to, I'll start with Julianne. If you don't mind, just each of you sharing your mission, just to help educate all of us on what your organization does.
Absolutely. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Small Steps mission is to provide an exemplary early childhood program that instills and fosters the social, emotional, physical, intellectual, and spiritual growth of economically at-risk children and their families.
Thank you. Jesse.
It's a mouthful, but thank you guys for having us. The Woods Project creates wilderness exploration experiences that promote academic success, college and career readiness, and lifelong thriving for Houston high school students who wouldn't otherwise have access to these opportunities.
Fantastic. And Scott, tell us about Ensemble. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you.
Myself, there we go.
There you go.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Steve Scott, and I'm the Education and Outreach Director at the Ensemble Theatre. The Ensemble Theatre is one of the oldest African American theaters in the Southwest. And our mission is to preserve African American artistic expression, enlighten and entertain, and enrich a diverse community. Our education program sort of follows that same mission, but we are in the community to give kids their first experiences, some of them to seeing theater. Educational-based theater that's TEKS aligned with schools, and focusing on social and emotional growth.
Excellent. Thank you. So I'm going to kick it off now with, we're going to go into giving each of our nonprofits 10 to 15 minutes to talk more about what they've done, what they do, and how they use the funds. And so, Jesse, I'm going to start with you. So the Woods Project was part of our environment focus area. Each of you received a grant just over $25,000. And so we're excited to hear what you're doing and how you used it and the outcomes. So looks like your presentation is coming up well, Jesse.
Awesome. Hopefully it's on just the screen where you see our logo, not any of the
Looking
other.
good.
Okay, super. Thank you, guys. We are so incredibly grateful for support from Impact 100. We'll share through the presentation how you guys have been able to help us support Houston high school students, but it really is not possible without support from our community, and not just the foundation gift, the monetary gift, but we're looking forward to having some volunteers come out and help us tomorrow. We are a small organization of just 7 staff members, but throughout the school year, we serve between 500 and 600 kids, and we can't do that alone. So it really does take a village, and you guys are helping us to create a very robust village for our students. I won't read this to you, but I did just want to share that the Woods Project is a wilderness adventure program, but that's not that is how we get change in our students. That's the vehicle. Really, we are helping our students see that they are stronger than they've ever could have imagined. We put them in situations where they can practice leadership skills and where they can develop real world skills that will help them not only in high school, but into their lives So the Woods Project started in 2006. Just a quick overview. We had 11 kids join us for that first summer experience. This last summer, we had 170 students across 4 different summer trip locations. So to say that we've grown over the last 20 years is an understatement. We also have multiple components of our year-round program that the students get to participate in before they go out on summer. As mentioned, we are trying to help our students develop life and leadership skills, and we do that through wilderness exploration and outdoor education. These are skills that we have identified as being those that outside of academics and outside of what our schools help our students develop, these will help our students find success. Because our students are the magic of the program, we didn't want to miss out highlighting some of their quotes from summer trip and some of their fun photos. Just taking a real quick peek, that middle picture where they're looking at a map, I think it's really important to note that our students really are in charge of the summer trip experience. We don't want them to be passive participants, so they're not just coming out and being told, here's where we're going today. Each day, leaders are assigned in different roles. So this group of students is looking at the map. They are sea kayaking in the Apostle Islands. So it was important for everyone to understand where point A is, where point B is, and how to navigate that. They did over 40 nautical miles, I believe, during their 2-week experience with us. And if you've never been sea kayaking, if you think backpacking is challenging, that is like a whole nother level. And that's a program designed for our junior leaders who have done traditional backpacking already. So the first introduction to our program is After School Club. About an hour a week, we're in with our students on their campuses, and we are really working on teaching them the hard skills of backpacking and camping and wilderness experiences, because for most, this is not something that their families do. So we want to teach them like how to pitch a tent, how do we read a map, how do we navigate the world without our cell phones? Because in the backcountry during our summer program, there are no phones. Even if they had their phones, there's no cell service. So they really need to have these hard skills developed before we go out. Additionally, this is an opportunity for us to help them practice those life and leadership skills through games and activities, so they don't really know that they're working on, like, they don't come away from it saying, oh, today I learned critical thinking. It's activities that help them develop these skills along the way. We can then progress to weekend overnight trips, and this is where our kids are really excited to dip their toes in the backpacking experience. For most of them, this will be the first time that they are sleeping in a tent. It's the first time they're cooking on an outdoor stove, they're purifying their water. To make it a little more challenging, again, they don't have their phones, and we're usually pairing them with kids that are not at their school. So this is an opportunity to start getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, learning how to work with people who are different from themselves, and then come away from it with use of these hard skills that will help them be successful on summer. Weekend workshops is something new that we piloted this last year. A lot of our school partners had challenges with transportation, and so they couldn't get to a weekend trip location. So we designed these one-day opportunities for students to backpack in Memorial Park or go biking along Bayou trails. Sometimes it was a service project, really just helping them to create community within the Woods Project and accommodate their schedules and their transportation challenges. We're excited to continue piloting what these might look like for this upcoming school year. And then this is the jam. This is what everybody wants to participate on. It's our 2-week summer experience. So this year we had 170 students and 60 volunteer leaders. That's right. There's room for all of you to volunteer on a summer trip with us. It is amazing. It's just as life-changing for our volunteers as it is for our students. But the experience is split into 2 different components. We have a front country experience where they're getting acclimated to the location they're in, whether it's California, Colorado, Wisconsin, or Washington. They get to learn the flora, the fauna, do some citizen science. And then the second week is led by our volunteers. Most students hike between 25 and 30 miles. In that second week, they're sleeping along the trail, they're purifying their water, they are navigating together as a team, facing challenges, overcoming those challenges, and they come away knowing that they are so much more confident and capable than they ever imagined. It gives me goosebumps as I talk about it. I had the pleasure of being with our students in Donner this summer in California, and to watch their growth in a 2-week period is incredible. They are put into situations where they can't help but taste some sense of success. And success looks different for all of our students. Some of them, they're just excited to know that they can live without their parents for 2 weeks. They can live without their phone. Some of them are really putting themselves out there and being vulnerable to new friendships and relationships. A lot of our kids say, I came in so shy and so nervous, but when they leave, we can't get them to stop talking. So it's really an opportunity for our kids to decide what they want to be and what they want to, how they want to succeed. Here's just an overview of the locations we went. As mentioned, we had 4 trips running concurrently this year. So all the 170 students were all out on location within a 4-week time period. It was incredible. And we are already recruiting volunteers for next summer. If I haven't mentioned that, we would love to have you all. The 4th component of our program is called JLP, Junior Leaders Program. And this is for those students that go through the full year of programming and say, this is where I want to spend my time. I have found real growth, and this is a community that I want to be part of. So they can come back and do a more purposeful, more meetings, year-long program. This also gives us a chance to get to know these students a little bit better, and we can help connect them to other high potential opportunities outside of the Woods Project. Several of our Junior Leaders Program students, we connected to the Posse Houston scholarship opportunity, and I think right now we have about 12 students going through that process. It's very exciting. We can also, once we get to know them, connect them to different internship opportunities, and our volunteers are really connected. So sometimes job opportunities also come out of the JLP program. At a glance, this is how Impact 100 has helped us transform the lives of Houston students. We provide a club at 14 schools this year. We had 10 overnight camping trips and 4 of those weekend workshops, and over 2,700 student nights in the woods. It's really incredible. All of these are stepping stones for our students to transform and change their own lives. So thank you for that. Here's where we start talking about success and what we're measuring. So the Woods Project uses the outdoors as a opportunity to help our students develop foundational and outdoor focused capacities. These are also known as SEL, social emotional learning capacities. We have identified these special capacities as the ones that can help our students find success. We use a tool called Hello Insight. It's an online survey tool that our students take a pre and post survey at the airport with us on departure day out to location for summer, and then on the return day. So we're able to really capture the change due to our program. And what we're finding is really, really exciting. Our students are seeing incredible growth in both the foundational and outdoor focused capacities. And this is comparison to all of Hello Insight's other programs that use the outdoor and the foundational capacities tools. So we know it's working, and we're very excited for our students to leave the program stronger and more capable, ready for next steps. Some of the successes I wanted to share, we were able to pilot something new this summer, and definitely that's thanks to some of the support from Impact 100. We had students who had graduated from the Junior Leaders Program who had done the year-round program, and came back as junior leaders in training. So on site, they had additional leadership opportunities. They led conversations in the morning about our character traits. They were able to provide students who were first-timers additional support and guidance as they were getting ready for their backcountry experience. It is something that worked so well that we are trying to figure out how to implement that moving forward into our summer program, not just as a pilot, but as something that is a key component of how we can continue providing our students the opportunity for those leadership skills. I didn't want to leave today without sharing some upcoming volunteer opportunities to continue helping the Woods Project and supporting our program. So first and foremost, volunteers support our organization in a number of ways, and it does not mean that we have people, all of our volunteers sleeping in tents or putting on bug spray. So please know that if you want to join us for a sleeping bag wash day, we would love your help. It's not very glamorous, but it is extremely helpful to make sure our gear is ready for use by all of our students and volunteers. If you are thinking that, hey, I would like to cook some spaghetti in the woods with students, then I would love to meet you, and so would they. We do have a trip leader orientation coming up on the 25th, and then annually we do an MLK Day of Service. January 19th will be our gear inventory day, where we take all the gear that we own, count it, and make sure that it's in good working order for our students. That takes a ton of hands. So if anyone is available to join us, please put that on your calendar or check out our website. We already have that sign up ready to go. So really, hopefully the takeaway is that you guys have been incredibly supportive of the Woods Project, and we could not be more grateful. Our students have learned life and leadership skills that will help them thrive, not just in school, but in their entire lives. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the photos particularly because it really helps us to get a good glimpse of what your organization is doing with kids. So now I'm going to turn it over to Stephen Scott from Ensemble. I'm looking forward to you sharing your story.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here. I wanted to say good morning to everybody, and let you guys know that we at the Ensemble Theater really, really appreciate all of the support from Impact 100. You guys have really helped us. You're not just a funding partner, you guys are a catalyst for change in the community. We found really great ways to utilize the grant, and we think we hit areas that are most important in our organization. The first being our Young Performers Program. Our Young Performers Program has been around since 1985 and has supported thousands and thousands of children in mostly underserved communities. A lot of the children that come to our Young Performers Program are interested in the arts, particularly in learning music or dance or theater. And so we provide that every single summer in 2 summer sessions. The goal is to bring kids into a program that is not just a summer camp, but it's something to help them learn all of the things that they love, but also discipline, empathy, working with each other as a group. We teach them other things like technical theater, all sides of technical theater, whether it's sound, set design, costume design. And then we, of course, have creative writing classes for them. So we want to help the whole child in these programs. And we do that by setting our goals very high, hiring the best teachers who also have art in their background. And we usually get a big number of kids. We also provide a lot of scholarships. We make sure that throughout the year, we're targeting students who want to be involved in the arts more seriously. We sometimes take them through tests so that they can gain their scholarships here at the ensemble, auditions and things like that. So we thought this year it would be really wonderful to use the grant money from Impact 100 to provide 4 different scholarships two in our first session, which is in June, and then two in July. And so we were able to give one boy and one girl a full scholarship to each of those sessions. So in our program, what happens is the kids come, and the first week they focus in on the discipline of dance, singing, or theater. Um, we train them in those areas. We have about 10 different teaching artists from the community who are professionals and have education backgrounds. And by the end of that week, the kids are auditioning for a musical that they're going to do. Sounds really fast, but every single time we start auditions, kids have learned so much in that week that they really do a great job. The auditions are just like they would be auditioning for a professional theater production anywhere in the country. After they audition, everybody, of course, is cast in the musical. By the time we get to the second week, we're starting off with the scripts that we're going to be working on, the characters that they're going to be playing, the songs that they're going to be singing, the dances that they're going to be dancing. So they get musical training, they get choreography, they get training in acting, and we literally put together a musical in about 4 weeks. It's a real crash course in theater arts for these kids. And it's really great. We start at the age of 6 and go to 17, and kids learn so much discipline during this time that parents are ready to bring them back the next morning. The entire time, every single day, parents are seeing the change and the difference in their kids and the way they're speaking and the excitement that they have about the production that they're doing. And they give us this feedback every single day. At the end of the program, it culminates into a performance of the musical. This year in June, the 4 scholarship recipients got to be involved in a show called Wonderful, which was a tribute to Stevie Wonder. It was an amazing show. There were about 70 kids in the production. And so we do 2 performances, one at 11 and one at 1 p.m. Um, to hear the feedback from the parents, feedback like, my kid knows more Stevie Wonder songs than I do. I'm glad to have this experience with my kid to share different genres of music. It was amazing. We had a really great production. We had about 350 people show up to see the production. And so the kids get the total full experience of being involved in the process of building a show, being involved in the show, and performing in front of an audience. And so you were able to, fund 4 kids to be able to be in that program. The second production in July was Kisa Naki, the African Princess of the Sea, which is an original show written by one of our teachers. And it was a really big musical. It's a play off of The Little Mermaid, but it has a twist with the African culture and the princess who's in the show. So it was a really, really great time. Being able to impact kids during the summer is really important. We know summer is um, a really great time for kids to kind of sit home and do nothing. And so being able to teach kids and really engage them during the summer is what our Young Performance program is all about. And we really, really had an amazing summer. And those kids, of course, will be coming back to us again and again. And I really think it helps them prepare for the year ahead, being able to be in a disciplined environment like they were during the summer. The next thing is we thought that it would be a really great idea to raise the bar with our tour education program. Since I've been in the position, we've been able to make the program exceed our expectations. This year, we were able to use your Impact 100 grant to fund a really great show that has been traveling around Houston and all throughout Texas for about 4 months. It's called Don't Worry, Willie. And it's a show about neurodivergency. It's a musical, and it's especially designed for kids ages third grade through 12th grade. Don't Worry Willie is a really cool show about a kid who has an alter ego that's a bear. Willie has autism, and all of his friends in the classroom that he's in have some learning difference as well. So this is a really great musical, teaching kids about learning differences, but just making them aware that all kids learn in different ways. It's a really cool musical. It's 45 minutes long, and the kids are taking a test. And this musical has really touched the hearts and souls of every single school that we have gone to this season. The show has been so popular that we're bringing it back and starting our season with it again. We've gotten so many rave reviews on it, and we're going to be presenting it at the Hobby Center in October. They saw the show and they wanted it in their Discovery series. But the main thing is, you guys provided us the opportunity to bring this show for free into three elementary schools last season: Love Elementary, Elliott Elementary, and Gregory Lincoln. And so this show is something that we have been working on as a part of being a more inclusive theater, more accessible theater. And it's been really, really impactful. And so you being able to get us into three different schools that don't necessarily get funding for theater was, what that impact grant was helped us do. And I love this show. I get really emotional thinking about it. The writer of the show has a son that has autism, and during COVID, they wrote a book called Don't Worry Willie, which sort of kept them, together and doing things as a family. And she turned the play into a children's play. And so we were the first to do it here at the ensemble, and we knew that we needed to have a great set and great production value so that when we tour, kids can get the same experience as being in a theater. And we did that every single time with help from the grant. It provided us with the right kind of costumes, props, and set pieces needed to, expand the experience for kids when they see this show. So I don't know if you can hear, but they're actually in rehearsal right now, rehearsing Don't Worry Willie. Because like I said, we're bringing it back as our first show of this season. And I think it's a real impactful show. The kids go through all kinds of experiences at school with their friends. And, sometimes there are things that they don't understand about learning differences and things that other kids go through. This show allows kids to see themselves on stage, and see that people who might have dyslexia or autism or ADHD, we talk about all of these things in the show in a very cool, very simple way. And so kids are able to learn that, sometimes I have people in my class sitting right next to me that behaves the same way. And they figure out through this show that everybody learns different. We take a different route to get to where we're going, but we're all very much the same. So that's a really special show. We thank you for the assistance with that. And then the last thing was something really special. We wanted to help the community with the grant as well. And so not long before the summer began, one of our board members came to me and said that she was getting ready to host her family in Houston for their 60th family reunion. And I thought, wow, 60 years of having a family reunion is a really big feat. And we were getting some ideas together about entertainment for that show. And I talked to her about a show called Profiles in Black, which is really a show just about profiling African American artists and heroes, different activists throughout the years, throughout American history. But the show also talks about a single man from a very small town here in Texas who was not a nationally known hero. He was really just a hero in his own town. And so the show talks about not only recognizing heroes that are, nationally known, but heroes in your own community, like parents or teachers or preachers, people that you have accessibility to every day. And I told her about the show, and she thought it was a really good idea. And so she invited about 75 of her family members to the Ensemble Theater, and we put on the play for them. This is a play that we've been touring for a while. And instead of her having to reserve the space, and pay for a show, that will, cost her a little bit of money to get to tour to her. We used the impact grant for that. And the response from the family was quite amazing. They had a lot of their younger family members, the kids in the audience, and they were really blown away to learn about some of these artists and activists that they had never heard of. But the biggest thing was the message in the show that says, find your own hero in your own family and in your own community. And we were really, really blessed that we were able to give that show to them for free. So these are some of the things that we did with the Impact Grant. We know that we are a professional theater, but we really are a professional community theater. And being able to serve underserved communities or communities that don't usually get to see the kinds of productions that we do is really the heart and soul of the Ensemble Theater. And so being able to, use the grant for those purposes really, really made our ending of our year special. We have a big gala coming up, where we'll be talking about some of these things that the Impact Grant helped us do. And so we'll be making sure that we mention you all, to all of our partners and all of the people that'll be at our gala, because we know that last season was what it was because we were able to do so many things in the community. Sometimes we, focus a little bit, much on our main stage productions and how the theater works and, getting butts in the seat. But we know that our educational component of our theater is what our founder, George Hawkins, really was trying to do when he built this theater back in 1970. And so we try to carry that legacy, and we really are glad that you all were a part of helping us do that this season. So we thank you for the support. We really had a good time.
Excellent. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Stephen. That's amazing
Thank you
to
so much.
hear.
Yeah.
All the different components I really enjoyed. I'm still going back to your early comment about in 4 weeks' time, preparing kids for a musical.
4 weeks. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
But all of that, super cool, really excited. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Yeah. So now I'm going to turn it over to Julianne Hickey, who's going to share with us about small steps.
Hi. Okay, let me share my screen.
Thank you.
I can pick the right one. Can you all see it?
It's coming up
Almost.
now. Yeah.
Okay, great.
There we go. There we go.
Awesome. So I'm with Small Steps. I'm the director of advancement. And as I mentioned earlier, Small Steps, we are an early childhood center. So we have two schools, one in the 5th Ward and one in the Gulfton Sharpstown area of Houston. And last year, the year that was supported by our last school year, the year that was supported by our Impact 100 grant, we were serving 240 children across both of those campuses, which is actually more students than we have ever served before. So we are so grateful. We were able to utilize Impact 100 support as general operating support. And in a season of growth, which is what Small Steps is very much entrenched in right now, that is so vital to our services. Because we're a school, our mission for the most part is our teachers and our employees. They're providing that hands-on experience for our kids every single day. So I'm just going to share a little bit about Small Steps, our mission, what we do each day, and also some of the outcomes of last year that Impact 100 helps support with their gift. So we serve children ages 2 through 5. So we have 2-year-old classes, 3-year-old classes, and we have pre-K 4. Last year, as I mentioned, we were serving 150 kids at our Fifth Ward campus, which is where I am, and then 75 students at our Gulfton campus. To qualify for our program, so our program is completely free for our families. And so in order to qualify, they must qualify for the free portion of the National Free and Reduced Lunch Program. And so that equates to about being below about 130% of the poverty line. Last year, the average income for one of our newly enrolled families was only $30,000 for a family of 4. So just goes to show you how challenging that would be to be paying for childcare, to be paying for a pre-K program for your child if you're trying to make $30,000 stretch for your entire family for a year. We also ask that our families live in surrounding zip codes. I will say they're a pretty expansive list of zip codes, but the original kind of intent of Small Steps is that we were serving the families and the kids in the neighborhoods where we are located. So we serve a lot of kiddos who live in Fifth Ward and who live in the Gulfton Sharpstown areas that our schools are located in. Since our program is completely free, we ask that our parents complete what we call tuition hours, and that they really are bought in as the primary teachers of their kids. So we really want to support them and their growth. We believe that our program is a holistic program, and one of the ways that we support the whole child is we also support the family unit. And so by our families completing tuition hours, they are normally fulfilled through what we call parent education. So our director of student and family support, she surveys our families each year and she asks them, what do you want to learn about? How do you want to invest in your own personal growth? And so oftentimes that looks like personal finance classes that they attend and get credit for. We have classes on children's nutrition, bedtime routines. We had an in-person parent ed this past winter that was about how to play with your child, and really trying to show what are age-appropriate ways to play with kids that don't involve technology. And we really lean on our community partners for things like that. We had Lakeshore come out and they were giving out kind of manipulatives that you can use that really foster kids' imagination. And it was so cool because you walked in and no one is on their phone. Everyone was on the same level as their kid. They were sitting on the ground playing with their kid. By age group, we actually had like an older siblings could come. So we had an older kiddo room set up and they were playing Uno. And so just kind of different ways for families to engage as a community, but also invest in their own growth. My next slide. So our program, as I mentioned, we are a holistic program. So we're trying to nurture all different aspects of our kiddos while they're with us at Small Steps. So obviously their intellectual development, we are an academic program and we are trying to prepare them for success in elementary school and beyond. We know that there is a direct through line for the best predictor of high school graduation rates is 3rd grade reading level, and the best predictor for 3rd grade reading level is kindergarten readiness. So what we're doing by preparing our kids for kindergarten is really trying to set them up to graduate high school, which would multiply their earning potential and all sorts of positive effects. We are also nurturing their social and emotional development. We have a program called Set for Life that was created by Dr. Michelle Forrester out of Texas Children's Hospital almost 26 years ago now. And so we utilize that in every aspect of Small Steps program. So Set for Life stands for Social and Emotional Tools for Life. And it's really a program that is designed, it's trauma informed, and it's designed to really support the social and emotional growth of children. So we are all trained, not even just teachers, myself, every staff in SET language and in the SET approach. We always joke some of the SET phrases that you pick up as adults, you start using on each other. So rather than saying, that's none of your business, don't worry about it, to, your staff, you say, that's not your worry. And it's kind of this idea of redirecting instead of putting up a stop sign to a child. You're trying to help them also learn how to identify their own emotions and identify their own emotional responses. And so by supporting their social and emotional health, we are actually supporting their long-term health overall. And so a lot of our kids, because they're living in poverty, poverty has trauma-like effects on a young child's brain. And so they come into small steps already having experienced trauma. And so they may have, more emotional outbursts than a regular kid who has not been growing up in poverty. And we're really trying to intervene early and provide wraparound support to help that kiddo succeed in elementary school. We want to be able to have our kiddos be able to sit in a circle. Sometimes kids need to learn about their sensory needs or get extra support. So we actually provide on-site therapy for all of our children free at cost if they qualify for needing therapy. So that's speech therapy, that's occupational therapy, and that's play therapy that are either covered by Medicaid or they're covered by small steps. And so that's one of the many ways we're supporting their physical and social emotional health. Spiritual development, we are a Christian school and we have weekly chapel for our students, and we do a Christmas and Easter production, and we just want to nurture our kids. We want to nurture our kids each as the creation of God. We're not an evangelical school and we're accepting of kids of all faiths, but we want to show them God's love through our teachers and through our staff. Physical development, we provide breakfast, lunch, and a snack every single day. So our kids, the majority of their nutritional needs are met while they're at school. I think all of you living in Houston probably have been following, just food insecurity continues to be on the rise with inflation and with everything going on with federal grants. And so we are really grateful for the opportunity to be able to relieve that burden for our families and know that their kids are getting healthy meals for 2.5 of their meals a day at school. And then, as I mentioned, we believe in nurturing the whole family unit. And so that's through parent education, but it's also through sometimes additional support. And so we are a relationship-driven program. And so we are assessing families' needs if they need referrals to community organizations for rental assistance or additional support. We want to be that relationship for them that they can lean on. And we do have a family assistance fund that we can draw upon if needed for emergency situations or crisis situations. So why do small steps exist? Why does it matter? The importance of early childhood. Early intervention is the key. All the research points to it. By really addressing kids' needs early, we are closing what we call the opportunity gap. So the lack of access to the same kind of experience or their opportunities is what we define as the opportunity gap. And we really want to be able to come in early and set them up for success long term. My husband teaches high school, and I know that oftentimes, like if kids that are in high school and they're not reading at the appropriate reading level, it can feel like it's too late. How do you address those things when they're already trying to prepare for college and then they're falling behind in all of their classes? And so by having a literacy forward approach and really trying to set our kids up to read on grade level by 3rd grade, we're working to close that opportunity gap. We're also closing that gap by providing some of those services I mentioned, those wraparound services. So I always think about the logistics, not just the financial burden of providing therapy for your child, but if you work an hourly job, how are you going to pick your kid up and take them to speech therapy and then bring them back to school if you don't have paid time off? We really want to close that gap and make sure that there are no barriers for our families to give their kids what they need to succeed. And that's central to who we are as an organization. We really have seen since COVID, early childhood and the landscape of education has changed a lot. So we've seen increase in therapeutic needs, increases in needs in general. We also, unfortunately, have seen that our average income for our families has actually gone down despite inflation going up. So we know that our families are in dire need of free, high quality early childhood education, as they are not able to make enough money to provide that for themselves. Normally it's not even, oh, they would go to a worse place. It's that they just wouldn't be able to provide that type of care for their kids, which would then serve as an obstacle to them having a job and increasing their income. So Impact 100 is a huge part of our success last school year. We are so grateful for y'all's generous support. And it sounds like we're the only org that has already had y'all come out to our volunteers. I know that the other organizations are going to be so excited to have y'all's support because we had y'all come out in July and it was a huge help. Y'all were able to provide these decorate these beautiful bags that I have here on the slideshow. And so we handed out what we called like literacy kits to our new 2-year-old students. They were all distributed at our home visits that take place right before school starts. And so we had some awesome Impact 100 volunteers decorate these bags and assemble them and put in all of the books. We also were working on enhancing our literacy materials in the classroom. And so y'all were doing a lot of cutting, which can be really fun as an adult to realize how hard cutting can be. But we were assembling prop boxes for our kids. So those are themed boxes that let's say it's a birthday prop box. It has all sorts of cutouts and different things for the kids to play with and do kind of themed play, but they all have literacy components. They have letters, they have pictures with the word defined, and so it's all just about letter exposure, word exposure, and building those literacy skills, and y'all were a huge help in that. So there's nothing better than having partners that are not just giving of their money, but giving of their time. So we're so grateful for your support in that way this summer. And we are just excited to have a continued relationship, hopefully with people as volunteers. We do have a buddy program where kiddos can have one-on-one adult like relationship that is child-directed play. So if you're ever interested in signing up to be a buddy, that's a really fun way for you to kind of have a really hands-on volunteer opportunity at Small Steps. And that runs from October through May each school year. And I just wanted to close by sharing a success story that we have from last school year that would not be possible without our generous community. So Grayson entered Small Steps as a 2-year-old with significant speech delays, and over the course of his 4 years at Small Steps, made remarkable progress with targeted resources and support. Aware of his speech difficulties, he often found social interactions challenging and was generally reserved, showing little willingness to engage with his peers. When others could not understand him, he became visibly frustrated and would frequently withdraw. Thanks to daily transportation to and from school provided by Small Steps, Grayson participated consistently in 2 semesters of play therapy and several years of speech therapy. This multidisciplinary approach and access to vital resources contributed to Grayson's meaningful and sustained growth. By the end of the 24-25 school year, Grayson had successfully met his speech therapy goals and graduated from the program. He became more open to interactions with peers and to supporting his classmates with academic challenges. Grayson concluded his time at Small Steps with notable academic achievements, becoming the highest scoring kindergarten student on the Woodcock-Johnson Achievement Test and earning advanced scores in letter and word identification, reading comprehension, and math. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Julianne. That was really helpful. I enjoyed how you shared also not just about your programs, but why they're so important. So understanding the background to why the early children education is so vital was super helpful, along with your ending story about just an impact success story. Thank you. So we're gonna close out the session with asking each one of you to just give in a couple sentences what it has been most meaningful to you or in your organization about the support from Impact 100 Houston. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to allow for any questions from our attendees. So if folks are happy for you to take yourself off mute and chime in if you do have any questions.
I have a question. Steve, you were talking about the 4-week summer program where the students, audition and then rehearse and then put on the play. Are those students also trained in set design and lighting and sound engineering as part of the production itself?
Yes, they're not trained before they get here, but yes, while they're here, we work very closely with the kids. We have them all day from 8 to 4. And so you assess kids and you learn really quickly the ones who have different interests. And we seek those out. And of course, we ask kids, what they would like to do. And so while we're preparing for the show that we're doing, and I'll make sure I send you guys some pictures and some playbills and things like that, because we do have a lot of that stuff. But we had kids engage with our costume designer, which is a professional costume designer, and then also our set designer as well. And so those kids who want to, take that on, we allow them the opportunity during the day to spend hours working with those professionals. And then once we get all of our sound equipment in, because we do rent sound equipment, we have some kids work with our sound operator to just so they can see what's happening back there with the lights or the sound. And then so some of them leave the program, going back to school and, getting into the technical aspect of their programs too. So yeah, we love to make sure we do that.
Excellent. Any other questions from attendees?
Jessica, you may have said it, and if so, I apologize for making you repeat yourself, but how does the Woods Project get connected with the kids that enter your program? Are you doing reach out to certain schools or certain after school programs? Because, I know you're small enough that the name is not well known, and so you probably need to do outreach, but I'm curious how you do that.
Yeah, that is one of our biggest hurdles. Sometimes I feel like we're the biggest, smallest nonprofit. We serve nearly 600, 700 students during the school year. But when it comes to name recognition, it's challenging. So we partner with schools, or traditionally we have partnered with schools. We have just completed a strategic planning process, which for those of you that have gone through that, it's been something, but it's really allowed us to think about student recruiting in a different way. So we have a faceted recruitment system. So we do work with school partners, and on each campus, there are a few teachers that help us identify the kids that would be best fit for our program. Thanks to COVID, and I know that sounds like a weird statement, but through COVID, we were able to pilot some direct service recruitment strategies, and we continue to do that because many students are finding us through either word of mouth or through partner organizations. So we're recruiting students through direct service now as well. And that's allowing us to meet students where they are. This year, we are piloting additional marketing opportunities because we know that the need for our program, it continues to be great. And the number of students that can be impacted by our program is unending in the Houston area. So we're also going to reach out to marketing partners, folks that have distribution lists serving the families, the demographic of the families that we serve, and hopefully look to recruit students through those networks as well.
Thank you.
So schools and community organizations, and we're going to work on this new broader outreach. Great question. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question for Steve. So you were talking about the Don't Worry show that you're going to be doing at the Wortham. Is that open to the public?
It's we'll be doing it at the Hobby Center
Hobby
in
Center.
in Zilka Hall. We were part of the Discovery series, and it's specifically for fifth graders, which is a really great program. But if any one of you would like to come and see the show, they do allow us to have guests on certain days. We're there all week, so we do about 6 different shows. We probably see about 3,000 kids, during that time. But yeah, if you guys would like to come out, maybe get a group together from Impact, you let me know and we'll get you in there. Don't worry, Willie, it's when a high stakes test turns the fifth grade classroom into a whirlwind of anxiety and self-doubt. And so you just see these 5 kids navigating through how am I going to get this test taken? And they all, have learning differences, and they have a really amazing teacher who sort of helps them navigate all of their emotional outbursts and the things that they're going through. And it's backed up by really great music. It is a musical, and so it's a lot of fun. And so yeah, we'll be at the Hobby Center in October, the week of the 20th.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, well, mindful of time, we're coming to an end. And I just want to quickly, just 20, 30-second from each of our guest speakers today to ask you, again, what was kind of the most meaningful part of the Impact 100 partnership through your grant? And so I'm going to start with Julianne.
I wrote mine out because I wanted to make sure I was concise. Impact 100 support helps Small Steps provide our high quality early childhood education to 225 students last school year. We are so grateful for your meaningful investment in our critical program. It helped us in our efforts to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty for all of our families.
Thank you. Stephen, for Ensemble.
Awesome. Impact 100 has given our education program the gift of access. You've allowed our students, some of them who might never have stepped foot on stage, to find their voices and their confidence. You've helped us tell stories like Don't Worry, Willie, that show children that their differences are not weaknesses, but strengths. And you've reminded families and entire communities through shows like Profiles in Black that heroes aren't only in history books, but they're sitting at our tables and are teaching in our schools. What you've done is more than fun projects. You've affirmed the value of every child, every family, and every story we tell. That is how you've most helped us, and we are truly grateful for that.
Thank you, Stephen. And last but not least, Jesse, for the Woods Project.
Thanks to support from Impact 100, high potential Houston High School students from underserved communities have gained access to the opportunity to develop life skills critical for success in life in high school and beyond. And more than that, they've developed confidences and self-awareness. Just a quick story, it'll be 30 seconds. One of our students shared when she got to the top of the mountain, because her students are hiking, as I mentioned, 35 miles in a summer trip experience. But when they reach elevations of 8, 9, 10,000 feet, they're at the top of the mountain looking down at the path that they just took. There is such an immense sense of pride knowing that they did that. They worked with their team to get to the top. And America said, I was so proud of myself and no one can take that away from me. So I think what you're giving our students is this sense of accomplishment and achievement that they might not have gotten through other aspects in their life. And they will carry that sense of confidence and achievement throughout. So thank you for making that possible for our students.
Excellent. Thank you. On behalf of Impact 100 Houston, thank you to all 3 of you for participating today. We are so grateful that we have the opportunity to connect with you. We love hearing from you, and we're excited that we've been able to support you and hoping to continue to support you. So with that, we're going to close out our session, but a quick reminder, we are going to be having another Philanthropy Friday on Friday, September 19th, to hear from 2 more of our grant recipients, Bear and Covenant House, who were our $100,000 recipients this past year. So hopefully all of you can join us again. But with
Great.
that, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Really
Thanks,
enjoyed
everyone.
hearing from all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks so much. Looking forward to seeing you volunteer at the